Hello and welcome to the Mountainbike Eliminator European Championships with me, Emma Martin.
And me, Matt Payne.
We're coming to you today from Sakarya in Turkey. It's a classic mountain bike eliminator destination on the World Cup circuit, and today hosts the European Championships. Matt, run us through this course.
As you can see, the long start-finish straight that you run through goes up the grass bank, down the rock garden. Seen of many incidents in previous rounds of the World Cup, up over the bridge and onto the big climb of the lap, up to the high point of the course before a second rock garden and a drop-off that sees regular incidents comes down, making sure your bike is in one piece for the next technical section. Really key. Up on to the top, adjacent to the start, and then dropping down. This is an area that causes problems because the drop down, very bumpy indeed. Into the left turn, get the line right, you could be sprinting for a European title.
You could do indeed. Last year's winner, Gaia Tormena of Italy and Jakub Klemenček of Slovenia, both on the start lists today, but a very different story to tell from both of those riders, and it is going to be a really interesting race for that European title today in both the men's and the women's. The gold medal at stake. Well, you can see the finish line at the moment. The sun is shining. It's 28 degrees in Turkey at the moment. Well, it is in Sakarya. And the earlier qualification race, the time trial for the women's, Adela Pernica topping the standings, 1.7 seconds ahead of Sukapalova. And the story today, the news of earlier, Gaia Tormena, the multi-time world and European champion, is out of the competition in the individual time trial. She dropped her chain following the rock garden, the drop-off after the rock garden in that individual time trial, dismounted the bike but could not get the chain back on quickly enough. It's a big story, Matt.
It's a very big story. She was 7 seconds off the qualifying time here, and that 7 seconds basically is the chain coming off. It is a major story because Gaia Tormena has taken title after title after title, and with the big favourite out in the women's race, it means that it's now wide open for anyone to claim that title back. Are we going to see Maria Sukapalova, one of the big names, a previous world champion, come and take it away? The steps through that time trial into the elimination phases, that journey goes onwards now.
Well, the first four heats, the quarterfinals for the women coming up next, and you can see those four heats in front of you. The first heat lining up already is Philibert of France. It is indeed the two riders from Turkey, the local riders, Cezash and Tunçay. Then Pernica of Czechia. Now, Pernica, for me, was going really strongly at the World Championships in Barcelona.
She certainly was, and she's taken the fastest time in the time trial, hence that #1 plate. The number on the rider's bike, indicative of their performance in that one-lap time trial. 2 laps here today, 2 riders going through. All the rest of the riders in each of our races being eliminated until we get into those minor and major finals. Time to go racing. Away we go. Fast move off from the line here. Really, really key on the straight, but don't expend too much energy and being led out here. Home rider from Turkey, Nazif Tunçay, leads out onto the back. Immediately behind comes Pernica, the rider from Czechia, holding the second wheel at the moment. This great shot down as we come off the back, tight left-hand turn into the dark of the rock garden, that same dark that we see, the riders see as well. So really easy to get unsighted as they go onto the climb. They're leading to, starting to open up a gap at the moment, and now we see Pernica making a move, storms down the outside. So Czechia in 1, Turkey in 2, France in 3, Turkey in 4 at the moment. Tunçay holding that second place, the vulnerable spot being chased here by Louis Philibert of France, looking to come through. Remember, with 2 riders through, you've got more security being in the lead, where we're seeing Pernica as to come down this drop for the first time. We get a really close shot of that drop with the logs across the face. We've seen real big-name riders in the past lose their chain on there and be eliminated from the racing at the moment. Pernica with the gap. Chase comes from behind. Bellring's going to be on 1 lap to go now, and this is looking the way of Pernika's 3 riders left in contention. Little bit of a gap opening up at the moment, a little further back.
Yes, Nazife Tunçay, the rider from Türkiye, in second place at the moment, being challenged by Philibert. Now, Tunçay second in the Snowbike National Championships earlier on this year. There's no snow today. We're on grass, asphalt, and mud and rock. Very, very different under those wheels, but it just shows you what a skilled young rider she is.
Big move over the top there by Philibert, over the top of Tunçay. Tunçay will not give this up easily, though. She'll be straight back onto the wheels. So the moment our leader, Adela Pernica, has a huge gap at the front. The battle behind is absorbing the riders. The local rider, Nazife Tunçay, battling it out with Lois Philibert, who will come into sight first. We're looking for them in the background behind our leader. The race win is not going to matter too much here to Pernica. She knows she's going to go through. She takes a long look over her shoulder, and it's the blue and white from France that comes into sight. It's not far around this turn. Once you come around it, it's Pernica who goes through in one. It's going to be a second place for Philibert. They go through into our semi-finals. Great ride by Nazife Tunçay, showing that talent that we're going to see, I'm sure, coming into the future. A fast start. You could see the enthusiasm and that drive from Nazife all the way through once she took that race lead. The battle for second and third place for me, where that race really unfolded. Philibert making a move on the climb on the second lap.
Oh, it was absolutely brilliant race between Nazife Tunçay and Lois Philibert for second place in the qualification there in heat number 1. Pernica and Philibert going through. In heat number 2, it is Scherstiuk of the Ukraine, Boissier of France, De Vries of the Netherlands, and Erdogan of Türkiye.
The riders lined in the gate. The riders set off sometime in the 15 seconds after they see that board. The whistle goes. Look over at each other here, and you have to be careful about extending too much energy here on the way through on this early lap. And you can see the 4 riders here. This is super tactical here. Thinking about where you expend the energy. Didi De Vries, very experienced, one of the most experienced riders on the circuit. Madison Boissier really starting to make her presence felt, making finals in World Cups, starting to make the real big events. Now goes to the 4 of this race. Dangerous behind her, though. A Ukraine rider, Scherstiuk, can never be discounted for taking the battle to the riders in front. And at the moment, it's Erdogan with a little bit of work to close down, but plenty of a race route left to do so. Onto the climb. Lead at the moment with Madison Boissier. Takes that line to the riders left. All right, then down that drop-off. Keeping that weight low, making sure that she keeps aerodynamic and the centre of gravity low on the descent, where the speed is higher. And around that right-hand turn, De Vries taking a look behind, and I think Didi De Vries now having to really think about what's happening behind her rather than what's happening in front.
Well, she's going to need to, because Maria Scherstiuk took her bronze medal in the World Championships on this course. So she knows she goes well here. De Vries will want to be in the major final, but at the moment it's Scherstiuk accelerating down that start-finish straight.
So Scherstiuk using the kick, using the explosion, and at the moment having to come back across to get onto the wheels here. Didi De Vries has the question asked of her, and she answers it. She goes back in front of Scherstiuk. You've had a throw of the dice, you've had a roll of them, they've not worked this time around, and back into the second qualification spot. And as that battle unfolds, I think we're going to have to see whether or not Madison Boissier has done too much, and we're going to see them come back to her. She can't afford to be complacent. Second and third coming together. Boissier in front, just making sure that bike stays safe. Still Erdogan behind, waiting to mop up the places if there's an issue up front here. But I think now this is going to be about who can take away that second spot. At the moment, De Vries looks like she's got the gap. She's going to run onto the wheels here of Boissier. And it shows you how much ground you can make up late in the race. Scherstiuk coming on the inside here. She's looking to take the tight line round. It will cost her speed if she's not careful. Big kick from Schurstik, closing down on De Vries, but Boissier goes over in 1, De Vries in 2, Schurstik in 3, and it's going to be Erdogan who takes the 4th spot in that quarter-final.
Well, the French riders were looking strong in Barcelona at the World Championships earlier this year, and Boissier doing the business in heat number 2. De Vries and Schurstik battling that out all the way around the course, and that was one real scrap to get into the semi-finals.
It certainly was. Really interesting move by De Vries. De Vries, not necessarily, I think, wanting to take this on the front, just thinking about qualification. Boissier showing her strength here. She acknowledges the huge crowds that are on the stands here in Sakarya, here in this fantastic amphitheatre of sport.
Well, Bailan from Turkey, Sukapalova from Ukraine, Giorgio from Cyprus, and Pennings from the Netherlands lined up and being given the 15 seconds to go.
Sukapalova now eyeing up her potential world championship, but she's got to focus on the chance, the race in hand at the moment. So let's see what can happen. The European title, a step on the way up again. Remember, she's had a world title here. What can she do here for the European title? What world jersey will she be pulling on at the end of this? They're elbow to elbow, and that's great riding there by Giorgio. Giorgio with the elbows out makes her way through. BMX style, sharpened elbows, the World Cup BMX track in the background behind these riders, and again we're going to see a similar move now. Big kick from Sukapalova, goes up on the inside, takes the race lead here from Giorgio, and it's pushed Pennings down into 3rd, and Bailan right in contention here as they come to the top of the climb for the first time into that descent. And this is where I think we see so much speed being carried by Maria Schurstik. Maria Sukapalova. Sukapalova, a rider that we have seen racing at the World Championship stage in Switzerland very recently in the XCO, and her descending skills there really paid off. She's putting those to the good use here on the XCE.
Yeah, she is indeed. She is really a short, fast specialist. She specialises in the XCC.
Yes.
That's where she really comes to the fore. 16th at Nova Mesto at the last
Very
World
much,
Cup.
yeah.
Not replicating that performance in the XCO, so it really is these shorter disciplines. And after having been world champion last year, 2nd and took silver, will progress.
Only 2 will progress. They're side by side down the rock garden as well. Pennings wanting to take it on the big power. She puts it into Giorgio. Giorgio is taking no prisoners going into the bridge. She left just about enough room here. And at the moment, you can just see Sukapalova has opened up the gap a little between the battling 2nd and 3rd place. It is giving Sukapalova a little bit of a cleaner run on this descent, where she puts those skills that she uses on the descent, puts the power down, makes that momentum on the climb, drives over the top, and then it's all about the skill on the descent. At the moment, it is Giorgio with time running out. Pennings makes a move on the right. She really accelerates onto the banking. She comes down. Look over the wrong shoulder there for Giorgio. Pennings is carrying the speed round the outside. Is there going to be room to come down on the barriers? It comes down to the sprint. The door is slammed in front of Pennings' face. Giorgio goes through in 2, Sukapalova in 1, and Pennings unable to make the move. Great to see the congratulations there from Pennings, but Giorgio, tell you something, you wouldn't want to meet her in a dark alley, because she's going to mug you like she mugs you on that finish there.
Well, I tell you, Konstantina Giorgio from Cyprus has always made the final, in 2025 and 2024 of the European Championships. As we watch the young rider, Tuana Bailan from Turkey, come through. She's still a junior. Loads of potential in the mountain bike squads in Turkey at the moment.
And you can see how good she is by how she was positioning herself. She was right on the wheels. She took that slightly off centre line there, going to the rider's right, looking for options, and smart thinking there from the Turkey rider. The power of the older riders, though, coming to the fore in this such an intense event. It certainly showed just why we see these riders battling and in oxygen debt when they hit the line.
Well, lining up for the final quarter-finals is Kuznetsova, the independent athlete, Borrelli from France, Fromberger from Germany, and Becker, the 11 times Türkiye national mountain bike champion. XCO, XCE and XCC, all titles she's achieved.
What can Aziza Becker do about this here today? You can see she's got the number 11 plate. I say only the 11th fastest time. She came through 7 seconds off the pace of the leader, but you've got to think about how much energy you expend in that time trial. You want to qualify, but you don't want to burn all of your matches at once because you need the energy here. Now Becker comes back into the front. She goes in front of Marion Fromberger. They go down side by side, and I'm loving the absolute fearlessness here of our Türkiye rider on the front. Aziza Becker showing just how good she is. Fromberger moves to the left-hand side, and at the moment we're seeing Margot Borrelli being pushed into third place here, and Anastasia Kuznetsova, a rider who's not afraid of making a move herself, being pushed down into fourth place. But you can hear the crowd going absolutely wild. Türkiye leading this out, Fromberger in 2. At the moment, Borrelli in 3. They're lining up to have a pop, but they're being held off here by the Türkiye rider. And it's Fromberger and Borrelli's battle going to take them into dangerous territory as we go on to lap number 2. Look over the shoulder here. Becker goes, the crowd are cheering her on here. If this was by support, she'd have already been home and dry, but now Becker has to deal with Fromberger, experienced rider. Borrelli, though, goes over the top in the blink of an eye. It's first to third for Becker, but she's not done yet. What can she throw at the riders? How much energy is left? The gap starts to open up now between the back wheel of Fromberger and Becker, and you can just see the moment. What a move. Margot Borrelli, the absolute patience. She waited, and then she pounced. But look at Becker coming back. She's onto the wheels at the top of the climb. She's going to have to pull something special out on Fromberger. Now Fromberger aware of the threat. Long look over the shoulder by Borrelli. They come round the right-hand turn. They've one more obstacle. They've got to keep it clean. They've got to keep the bike together. You can see the shadow coming for Becker. She's waiting. One mistake on this corner. If you pedal too quick out, you clip the pedal on the floor, it's going to go wrong. It's not going to go wrong for Borrelli. Fromberger comes across, and what a ride there. Aziz Becker took it to them, made them work for that fair with every pedal stroke. What a great race.
Well, sometimes fortune favours the brave rider, but not today for Becker, not progressing through to the semi-finals. But boy, what a race in front of a home crowd today. Margot Borrelli of France and Marion Fromberger of Germany. That second lap is where they really put the power down and qualified for that semi-final today.
Absolutely brilliant riding. Lots of great support there for Becker. I've got to say, really impressed by the way that they are not necessarily respecting the big reputations of these big international riders that they maybe haven't raced too many times before, and the Türkiye riders here using that support.
Yes, Pernica and Philibert, Sukapolova and Giorgio, Boissier and De Vries, Borrelli and Fromberger, the 8 riders progressing to the semi-finals in the women's competition. Up first, however, is the men's quarterfinals, and earlier on today in the individual time trial, it was Klemenchuk who set the fastest time. The riders then went through when they were gridded into the 8th finals, and you can see the qualifications in front of you. It went pretty much to the form from the time trial qualification. Bastidar going out, Tornelian going going out, Topol going out, was probably the rider that was most surprised after that performance in the individual time trial. But the quarter-finals now up next.
And remember, 2 riders through, 2 riders or any other rider in there that's left on 2 wheels at the finishing line will be eliminated if they're not in the top 2. You must be in the top 2 to move through. It's absolutely critical. Elimination racing by name, elimination racing by nature.
Well, Justin Vull from France, Jakub Klemenček from Slovenia, Felix Klausmann from Germany, and Enis Şanlı from Turkey lined up for heat number 1.
What can Şanlı do? He'll be inspired by the performances of his countrywomen previously in the racing he's just seen from behind the start line. You can see right into this back, but being led out at the moment. Klausmann of Germany, known for his fast electric starts. It's less critical here than maybe some of the tighter town centre circuits, but he wants to go in first. You just see him pushing that dropper seat down, making sure it goes right the way to the base there, and a massive move on the outside there. You could see Justin Wall did not want to be pushed to the back of this bunch. He goes up on the inside, and Şanlı also looking to make a move, having the door shut on him there by Slovenian rider Klemenček. But at the front of this race, Justin Wall starting to edge open a gap. Behind him then, it's very, very close. Second and third place, it's a case of looking where you can go. They close up onto the back wheel of the Frenchman. So at the moment, Slovenia in 3, Germany in 2, France in 1, Turkey at the moment in 4th place. Şanlı looking to get the gap back down to these 3 in case they tangle. 1 lap complete, 1 lap to go, all 3 racing together, and issues for the rider from Turkey. The chain coming off, he's going to get that back onto the front chainring. He'll want to get round the race, but it shows you just how difficult it is to keep the bike together. Diagonally across the steps, down over the rock garden. Nothing to choose between them. Wall leading out, Klemenček in 2, and Klausmann now starting to get distance on the climb. Klemenček wanting to get it out of the danger zone. He cannot get past Wall. It leaves him vulnerable in second position in that green jersey of Slovenia. And what can Klausmann do? He's got to close down. Klemenček moves on the right-hand side. He's going to take the lead coming round the right-hand turn. Clip a tyre now, clip a pedal. You're going to be in trouble because Klausmann is hovering behind, full gas over the top, throwing it down. They can't afford too much caution. They come around the turn. Klemenček powers out on the outside of the bend, on the inside is Wall. They look over their shoulder. They know it's not going to be Klausmann. I think Klausmann with an issue around that turn. I think he overcooked the turn there and went towards the barriers. Maybe get a look back at that. Klemenček and Wall through.
Well, Jakub Klemenček, the defending European champion, would not want to go out in the quarter-finals. A rider on form who had real issues on the start line of the World Championships. He got to the final and he dropped his chain, or should I say he snapped his chain with the amount of power he put down through those pedals on the start straight. Not able to complete that World Championship final, but he will want to retain this European title.
Well, as the riders wait to go, we see Enis Şanlı go and make his way around the turn. Brilliant job done by him in front of the home crowd. He gets the chain back on, and that is what mountain biking is all about, making sure you get that bike sorted over the line. Great experience. Yeah,
it is indeed. Whilst the next heat is lining up. Jajim from Turkey, Molnar from Romania, Zagar from Slovenia, and Grigoriadis from Greece.
Molnar, the man with the best moustache in mountain bike Eliminator, they're looking very, very good.
Yes, European champion in 2023. He's not had that form since he took a bronze medal in 24, but was 10th last year.
Time to see if he can move back up. He'll want to be right at the front of affairs here. As you see, Grigoriadis go to the fore here for Greece. He's been looking strong this season. We'll see what he can do. He's up against a very strong, stiff competition. As the power goes down, you can see the pace lifted as they hit the back. And a really nice line taken there by the Greek rider. going in. He swung it up the bank. He used it almost like a berm to throw himself down. It's given him momentum, and you can see at the moment that Molnar has responded. He's used the power of the momentum to go on the wheels. However, as they come over the top, it's coming back together behind our race leader, Molnar and Zagar, very close together. And Jejim at the moment holding the wheels, maybe just biding his time, thinking about where he's going to make a move. 4 riders were together off the line. It's pretty much 4 riders together as they come up on to the top of the features. They drop back down again. Jason to the finish line here, and Molnar coming around. The pace went on, it came off, they're back in. Well, you've done 1 lap, and it's all together. Molnar swings to the side. 1 lap to go, and no one wants it on the front. Kick from Zagari, winds up, and he telegraphed it. He might as well have sent out smoke signals. It was so obvious to the rest of the riders he was pushing. And Molnar now takes a wide line, chops down in front of Zagar, almost takes the front wheel from him. They hold themselves in a position, and now we're starting to see a little bit of a drop back by the Greek rider. Grigor Riadis losing ground on the climb here. Jejim is giving it everything, but the gap has now opened. Molnar leading the descent. Zagar holding the wheels here. It's only 2 or 3 bike legs. It's a safety distance between them. Look over the back there by Zagar. They've opened the gap. It's the length of the shadows as the sun starts to drop down. The shadows lengthen, but you can see the big push has gone. Massive kick here. He didn't give up. Jejim takes it to the line. 1 wheel length. That's all that was stopping him. 0.6 of a second. Wow, nearly took it back.
Yeah, Aaron Jejim coming right through fast at the finish, but Molnar and Zagar, the 2 riders who will progress from this heat. That was a real game of cat and mouse out there on course. The end of lap 1 going into lap 2. Eddie Molnar pushing on and Zagar going with him, but what a race out there. All 4 of them were on the front at some point.
They were, and then when we came into that last lap, we thought it was a done deal. We thought Molnar coming through, he just gives the moustache a little tweak as he goes over the line there. But he was in danger from being caught by Jejim, and it shows you can never, ever give up, and you can never relax in mountain bike eliminator.
You can't, and Kraus from Germany in 1, Akim from Turkey in this heat as well, Hampio from France, and Hauser from Austria.
A couple of seasons ago, Hauser was on a blisteringly quick form. He was really challenging the very top riders. He's been a little bit further back.
He is indeed European champion in 2024, 4th in 23 and 5th last year. He really has run it close every time, and he's a rider who's going to want to make that major final.
And you can just see him there pushing wide. The rider from France, Kylian Hampio, just being edged over to the side of the track. They're just being pushed out, but all 4 riders together here. And I'll tell you something, Furkan Akar looking like he's got one of the best rides he's had for a little while. He's right in the mix. He moves up into 3rd place here. He goes in front of Kraus of Germany, and at the moment the lead 2 can't shed the chasers behind, who are side by side coming round. Hauser has not got the gap. They all come back together again before they even get into this left-hand turn. Hauser in 1, Hampio in 2, then it's going to be Akam, then it's going to be Kraus. They're going to change it if they're not careful, and Hauser does not want to surrender lead. It's a long way to the top of the bank. Hauser's trying to break them on the flats.
Well, there's enough watts out there to power a small town at the moment as they head down that start straight and out onto lap number 2. The elbows are out, they've been sharpened, and they are absolutely dialing this. Akam, let's not forget, he's the Under-23 XCO national champ. He's no slouch, but everybody is handing it to each other out there today.
The power goes down on the climb as the gradient goes up. We're going to flip into the descent now, and it's about skill, power, and making sure that you keep it rubber side down. House has opened a little bit more of a gap, and almost a smile on his face as he takes a look back round. He looks to the right, he looks to the left. They're not to the side, they're behind him. And now we're starting to see Kraus making the move. Hampio side by side. Hampio's being pushed on the grass. Is he going to be taken out? The inside line holds it as they come round. Kraus is going to take second place. Will it stand? The commissaires, the race referees will take a look. A shake of the head there from Hampio. And that was a tight move down there. Rubbing his racing, and there was plenty of that in this round.
Well, getting round your opponent in the last run to the finish line, absolutely crucial, and there was a lot of overtaking and shifting of positions in this heat. It was fast and furious, and he got pushed wide on the line. Kraus holding the line and defending the line for the finish. Well, Hampio just being eked out there. Hauser and Kraus progressing. Final heat coming up, and Sazak from Romania, Georgiadis from Greece, Brikis, the independent athlete here, and Coverell from France. They're being given the 15-second warning.
A really interesting mix of riders in this. I think this is one of the more wide open of these quarter-finals. We have riders in 3rd, 6th, 11th and 14th. That's who leads them through. But you can see the big push coming in from Romanian rider Mate Sakes. Sakes comes up over the top, round the outside, leads in, drops down and takes that line and leaves the door a little bit open. Nobody takes advantage of that as they come through. Brikis at the moment in 3rd place, sandwiching the French rider. He's like a Kiwi sandwich at the moment as they come round the turn, dropping down into the descent. The Romanian styles it up on the drop-off as well. Brave moves on the way down. That is how to ride in style when there's a European Championship semi-final place at stake. He's riding the quarterfinals, and he's still got the time to flip it on to the side to try and whip it around that turn. He certainly whips round the 180-degree turn on to the finishing straight. At the moment, the gap has opened up enough to me say this could be one of the closest. Sakas has one of the biggest gaps we've seen.
Well, he does indeed, and he goes through and out onto lap number 2. Coverell in 2nd, but nearly 2 seconds back. Brikis is still in the mix at the moment. They're side by side, and I tell you something, the French rider getting caught up, and whoa, getting caught up there.
Recovery.
Roman Coverell, nice recovery, but that was just 2 riders side by side going into that corner.
You can't fit 2 riders into that kind of space without it getting up close and personal, and that is what we saw there. I'm sure we'll be taking a look back at that. He pirouettes his way round with the bike and did a good job of not getting it into the riders, into the face of the rider coming in behind, and that was Georgiadis. Up front is the place to be if you want to stay clear of trouble clearly today here, and that is what's happening. Our rider coming round in to take victory in this, the last of the quarterfinals. Mate Sakes comes over the line. He takes the first qualifying spot. The second qualifying spot is going to go to Denis Brish. He's the independent athlete who comes through in 2nd. There's going to be Georgiadis of Greece who comes through in 3rd. And then 4th place should be pirouetting Coverell. Let's take another look here as these riders come in and down. You can see how close the riders are, and this was coming in the 2nd time around. It was just too close. He gets caught. He did really well to stay in one piece, and that could have been nasty.
Well, the European Championships for 2026 is giving us thrills and spills right from the start. From that individual time trial where Gaia Tormena from Italy, the defending champion in the women's race, had issues and dropped her chain and didn't qualify through, to every single heat here in the quarterfinals. You can see the results there and the riders who are going to progress to the semi-finals in the men's race. Klemenchuk and Vol, Hauser and Kraus. Then we have Sakis and Brikis, Molnar and Zagar. They will be the riders going through. Lining up right now, however, are the women for the semi-finals. The first semi-final, Didi de Vries from the Netherlands, Marion Boissier from France, Lois Philibert from France as well. As they are down there waiting, the final rider, Adela Pernica of Czechia.
4 riders lined up in this first of our semi-finals. 2 riders to go through. 2 riders will not make that main final. We have a minor final for places 5th to 8th. We have the main final to decide the destination of that European jersey and that European Championships. Long hold, De Vries, Pernica, Boissier, Philibert. The whistle goes. This is going to be very interesting indeed to see who takes this on. Is anybody going to push hard all the way for 2 laps? At the moment, no, they're 4 wide across the course here. The orange of the Netherlands, the light blue of Czechia, the dark blue of France ×2. At the moment, just starting to pick up the pace. Who dares leave this late? Now starting to see a push, and no surprise to see Madison Boissier coming to the front of the race, wanting to stretch this out. It's a very straight line down there compared to that slightly more diagonal line that we see there from De Vries in the orange. It pushes De Vries slightly more to the right-hand side, but it's a straighter line overall on the course. It saves her time. De Vries pushing. But look at this, Pernica making a move up the inside. Pernica starting to push on here, starting to put the pressure on De Vries. De Vries comes through, still holding the pace. They've got the gap at the moment. The rider in 4th place is Philibert.
Yeah, De Vries is going to go wants to go through to that major final. Let's just say the 2 riders in 1 and 2 progress to the major final. The riders in 3 and 4 progress to the small final to decide places 5, 6, 7 and 8 today. And Didi de Vries, the rider from the Netherlands, will want to go through. Adela Pernica will want to go through too. Madison Boissier is the rider leading this out, and there is a big battle that is going to take place during lap number 2.
Now Boissier needs to watch out here because the power of these older riders coming up. Pernica comes through on their side, and De Vries we know comes good at the end of the race. Boissier has taken the lead, but we will see whether or not she's got the power to this time hold it to the end of the race. She powers up onto the wheel of Pernica. It's opening the gap to De Vries. De Vries is going to be pulling all sorts of faces here as she tries to come up over the top. You can see she's throwing everything, including the kitchen sink, at that ascent. It's not coming off at the moment, and Pernica stretches out her lead. She's been favoured by a number of people as being a potential race winner, a potential champion in waiting, and now Pernica leading behind. You can see De Vries trying to close the gap down on Madison Boissier. Will Boissier make the major final? De Vries runs on towards the back wheel. Great shot over the top there. Boissier carries the speed. De Vries coming. She's not going to close the gap down. It's the major final for the medals and the championship potentially for Pernica and Boissier. It's going to be the fight for 5th to 8th for De Vries and Philibert.
Well, Didi de Vries' best position at the European Championships is 4th place, and that was back in 2023. In 24 and 25, she made the small final, taking 5th and 8th, respectively. It is going to be a battle for that 5th place today for her and Lois Philibert. Pernica and Boissier going through. The second heat of the women's semi-finals lining up at the moment. Giorgio of Cyprus, Sukapolova of the Ukraine, Fromberger of Germany, and Borrelli of France, all being given the 15-second hold.
Never mind pulling faces on the hill. I'm pulling faces trying to work out who's going to go through in the front 2 of this race. place. Long look over the side here. Giorgio really aggressive in her riding and her positioning here. But the fast start comes from Maria Sukabalova. She saw that almost pedestrian start coming from the riders initially in the first of our semi-finals. She doesn't want any of that. She carried so much speed, she almost whipped out the side of the course there. She had to put a big correction in, and that's putting risk into that equation of risk versus reward there. She carries it off this time around behind. The pressure that has been applied has stretched this race out from the get-go. Sukabalova in one, wanted to take no chances of leaving this to the last lap. Marion Fromberger is going with her in two, and at the moment this is in complete contrast because we've got 1 and 2 clear at the moment from the word go. They're going to come up over the top and drop down towards our final turn with clear air between second and third place at the moment. And this means that the work needs to be done by the 2 riders behind Margot Borrelli of France, along with Constantina Giorgio of Cyprus. If they work together here, they might have the chance of closing the gap down. If they just battle each other, they're just fighting for what is guaranteed, and that is the place in the minor final.
Well, it's an interesting move, and going out hard from the gun, Sukabalova is trying to avoid any issues out on course. The close racing on this course in Sakarya really is what causes the challenges, because the fight and the pace and the elbows going into the features really causing damage.
And we're seeing Margot Borrelli now, I think, who got caught a little by surprise by that move, that big push from Sukabalova, making the move late on in the race. She's really good at getting her timing right, but she's going to have to pull something special out here. She closed down on the climb as the distance came down. She's got a smaller gap now than she had at the end of lap number 1, but it's still substantial enough. Surely no mistakes now from our front 2 can be allowed. And look at the pace of Borrelli. Borrelli's going to come on the inside of Fromberger. Fromberger has got to hold the line. She's on the outside. She's going to carry the pace. Borrelli's up on the inside. Sukabalova's going to go through cleanly, or is she? Has she been taken on the line? Oh my goodness, it came down to the sprint and Sukabalova has been eliminated.
She can't believe it. What a move, what a race. Margot Borrelli coming from 3rd position, running into the final feature to come up onto the wheel of Fromberger to get the qualification race. And in that battle for 2nd place, they both go past Maria Sukabalova, who led the entire race.
But not where it matters. She eased off. You can see she looks over and she's like, no! And it came down to that throw by Borrelli, and that is why you do not give up on the way to the line. She thought she was secure. She wasn't. She will now not be fighting it out for a European Championship medal.
Well, 0.04 of a second is what separates Maria Sukabalova from that main final. Well, the men's semi-finals, can it get more exciting? We are about to find out. Eddie Molnar from Romania, Jakub Klemenček from Slovenia, Matek Zagar, his compatriot, and Justin Vull from France. The first semi-final in the men's competition lined up and ready to go.
The whistle goes, away go our riders. Molnar on the right-hand side as the riders come towards the line, but with 2 Slovenians in this race. They were 1st and 4th fastest in the time trial. Are we going to see team tactics? We're going to see tactics from the 2 Slovenians here, trying to put a roadblock in. Big sweep round the outside there. Justin Vull's not having any of it. Molnar here's the move going. He comes to the 4. Number 1 plate of Klemenček. So the Slovenians now separated and sat in the middle between, just about holding pace. It is Wall, and Wall does not want to be in that fight. He wants to be up in front. He's going to leave Molnar now to deal with the 2 Slovenians. Molnar's going to be looking back behind as much as he's looking in front, and he needs to. Klemenček is pressuring on the side. This is where positioning will be key. Molnar wants that front position. Klemenček's going to come through the gap. He's nowhere to go. The door's shut. Molnar Muller didn't realise, I don't think, that Klemenchik was quite as close. That was a long swing across there, but it well and truly slammed the door in Klemenchik's face. And now another kick comes from Wall. Molnar, Klemenchik being chased at the moment by Zagar. Zagar has got work to do to get onto the wheels, and the speed down here, if you're not in the wheels, you are out of the slipstream. We come up onto the back, all four riders together down the rock garden they go, and Klemenchik making the move, going over the top. I think I'm just going to double check on that as they come over the section. That is Klemenchik surely on that climb. It is. He's got the lead here. Thought for one moment the Matic managed to do a bit of time travel to get to the front of the race there. Look at this big kick over. That back wheel just skips out from Klemenchik on that descent there. He's got the gap, and now it's that fight for second and third place behind him.
He really wants to defend that European title.
Oh, slide out in third place. Wall goes down on the descent. He was looking to pressure the rider in second place, Molnar. I don't think there was contact. I think it was rider error there. A big push from Zagar, looking to come up and through. And it's Wall still clipped to that bike. He can't get that left foot out of the pedals. We'll see that again, I'm sure, on that descent down. From the start here, Wall was taking it to them. He really pressurized. Klemenchik kept on using his power there. Molnar asserted himself with his positioning. Klemenchik goes clear. Molnar and Zagar and Wall are left to fight it out. Oh, and he loses it on the descent. That must have hurt. I tell you something, he was looking really good to say he came down that so hard.
The pace he came down there to carry the momentum into the finish, it just was too much for handling. The final semi-final lined up. It's Brickus, the international athlete, by Zakas from Romania, Hauser from Austria, and Kraus from Germany. I'm not sure what else a semi-final can give us.
I'm not sure I want to think about what else the semi-final can give us between now and our finals. One more semi-final to go. The last of the men's semi-finals is away here. And remember, Hauser used his power to try and lead it, to make it quick all the way. However, I think we are going to see a move here as Zakas goes to the fore, probably buoyed by the move of his countryman Molnar to go through into the finals, and a big push coming from Brickus to move up into second place. Hauser now deposited down into third place, and Kraus, do not discount him wherever he is in this race, because he has made his way up here by hook or by crook. He's managed to get himself in to this, the semi-finals. At the moment, starting to see a little gap develop at the front, but we've seen how quickly this race can close up in all of these race categories. The long look goes over the shoulder, though. Matic leads this out at the moment. Second and third place, super tight. Brickus on what is fractionally the rider's right or left-hand side. Hauser just holding position, maybe a little circumspect on that descent as they come round here. Now Hauser starts to put down the power. He wants to go into a qualifying position. Zakas leads this out. Brickus goes over the line, but he's passed by Hauser. The red of the Austrian starting to make moves, and behind, I think Kraus is going to move up, but it may be too little too late. He's got a lot of work to do. He's got a lot of distance to make up to come into a qualifying position. Our lead riders trimming their speed over the bridge, up on to the climb. A little bit of scrubbing of speed. Long look over the shoulder here. And now Zakas has to think, how much does he invest in what is left on this lap? How much does he save for the finals? He's got Hauser behind him. A massive look over the shoulder again. This is intelligent riding here by the Romanian. He's making sure he's got the gap. They've definitely got it now. As we see the riders behind, that is a huge distance, and this means it's going to give them a little bit of advantage. They might have been in the second of the semi-finals with a bit less time to recover before the finals, but they've had a slightly easier end to their ride on the run into the line.
Well, Hauser is going to be pleased that he's made the main final. He made the small final last year of it, having been European champion in 2024. Mate Zakas, what a ride from him. He placed 10th at the World Championships in Barcelona earlier on this year, and he's adamant where the European Championships are concerned, he wants a top spot. Well, he's earned himself a place in the major finals to fight for that gold, silver and bronze medal. He will be one pleased rider lining up at that start of the final a little later.
So you can see that journey of our men and women as they make their way through the time trial, through the eighth, through the quarters, through the semi-finals, and then into our finals. We have a small final and a big final. The small final for 5th to 8th places. The big final, 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th places at stake. A gold, silver and bronze medal. And of course, the European Champions jersey. That iconic jersey, really distinctive continental jersey, with the stripes and the stars on there. But first we're going to see our small final. We
are indeed, and lining up at the moment, Didi de Vries from the Netherlands, Maria Sukapolova of Ukraine, Konstantina Giorgio of Cyprus and Lois Philibert of France.
The whistle goes, away go our riders. They go underneath the UEC banner here, and you can see Sukapolova has had to pick herself back up from that disappointment of giving away a spot in the final, handing it to the riders who mugged her on the line. She's got to pick herself back up from that disappointment. She'll be looking to put in a strong ride here alongside her. I am expecting to see some really strong riding from Giorgio of Cyprus here. I think a rider who, whatever the result here, will be pleased with it. She would have been looking to go to the final, but she's got her work cut out. I think she's invested a lot of energy in the earlier rounds here, and it's maybe taking its toll. We'll see if she can ride herself into this race a little more. At the moment, Sukapolova with the gap, you can see how much power she's got. She's ahead of de Vries. De Vries at the moment behind.
And what form is Sukapolova on at the moment? That moment of inattention. You know, never think the race is over before the line.
And so many great riders in the history of cycle sport have had that self-same thing happen. And the one thing that you've got to do as an elite athlete, as one of the best in the sport, is to be able to pick yourself up and not be played with nightmares about that again. It's a mistake. To err is human. Our riders are human. They're not machines. They have so much going on. They've got oxygen debt. Their brains are fogged. Their legs are burning. Their lungs are on fire. Everything is on the limit, and at the same time you've got to focus all the way through. So difficult to do, because this is not just one race, this is multiple races, this is multiple intense efforts. Sukapolova on the inside lane, de Vries starting to push on the outside, closes down a little as we come up here to the top of the ascent. Behind her then you can see Lois Philibert currently in 3rd position in this race, with Giorgio in 4th place. Sukapolova's going to come around the turn here. She will be trying to make sure she's got this dialed. She knows what she can do, and it will be a case of what could have been for the Ukrainian rider. We know she's got the class. We know she's got the pedigree. We know she can perform on the biggest stages. Not to be today. It's a minor final win. It's going to be 5th place overall for Sukapolova. You can see her ruin that. She thanks the amazing crowds here. She goes across just ahead of Didi de Vries of the Netherlands, who's going to come through for 2nd in the race, which means that 6th place overall. Philibert and Giorgio to come to the line. Sukapolova, you just got to imagine what was going through her head here. She had to shut so much out of what had happened before.
Well, once it's happened, it's happened. There's not a lot you can do about it. Moving on is the next step. But can I just say, Didi de Vries, the grit and determination not to sit up in the race and to hang on to that wheel, first class. Well, we head to the men's small final. Justin Vaughan of France, Matic Zagar of Slovenia. We have Danis Brikis, the independent athlete, and Lewis Kraus from Germany lined up and awaiting the whistle.
Well, you knock our riders back down and they get back up again. Justin Wall doing that. What can he do here? This is going to be an interesting race. How much damage was done by that crash? It's certainly looking good. Well, I'm just taking a little look here. Bricky's leading this out at the moment, just keeping the pace down, looking behind to see what Kraus is up to. I expect to see Wall just putting a big move around the outside. At the moment, he's just holding fire. Kraus keeps position on the front here coming in. They are very close together, and this is where errors can be made. Not because they're going flat out, but because it is just too tactical. They're just too close. They are tangling on the way through. Not happening now as the pace gets picked up. So Kraus leading at the moment, Sakarya in second position. Wall bringing up the back of this train of 4 riders that come down. This could come back together very easily indeed. I think Wall just maybe needing to take a little bit of the work on to close down on the back wheel of Sakarya here. Bricky's coming in, carrying momentum. They're going to come up onto the top 4 riders together. Wall just weaves his way around behind, just taking a look at Bricky's taking to the grass there. Nice move around the outside. He was down in 3rd place. There was a gap to him. He's come back. He's used the momentum, and now a big kick goes. Sakarya wanting to break this up, wanting to make this certain. He's looking to break them all off his back wheel. He's opened a little bit of a gap to Kraus. Is it going to be enough? Our cameras were shortening it, but it's short enough anyway. It's only 3 or 4 bike lengths between 1st and 2nd. Wall at the moment has got the same between 4th and 3rd place as we see Sakarya go on to the climb. The momentum carried by Brickis. Each and every ascent is really driving off of earlier races. I think he's going to now have to fight for the minor place behind if he can. The front of the race being led Slovenian rider Matic Zagar in the small final for 5th to 8th place. He's going to come round that left-hand turn. He keeps it clean. It's going to be a 5th place here today at the European Championships for Matic Zagar, who comes across the line at first in the small final. Second across the line is Kraus. He will take away a 6th place. Brikis is going to come through for 3rd in the race, 7th overall in the European Championships. And Justin Wall will take 8th place in the championships, a last rider in the men's small final.
Well, Matic Zagar took the bronze medal last year in 2025. He's going to have to be happy with 5th place today in 2026, and he made a very clear decision on that final lap that 5th place was his and rode clear of the group. The small finals now complete. We head towards the finals that will decide the medals today at the European XCE Championships. The mountain bike eliminator here from Sakarya in Turkey. The women are up first. Madison Boissier from France is lining up down there with the other 3 riders to contend this race. Adela Pernica with the number 1 plate. She's at the fastest time in the individual time trial, the qualification round earlier on today. Marion Fromberger, the German rider. Fromberger, well, it was 2023 last time she made the main final where she finished 2nd. Today, she's lining up again to contend those medals. Margot Borrelli, the French rider, the 4th rider that we are witnessing here. They're awaiting the whistle.
The whistle goes and away go our riders here at the UEC European Mountain Bike Eliminator Championship, powered by City Mountain Bike in Sakarya, Turkey, and all 4 riders together as they come over the line. 2 full laps of this circuit to do. 3 medals at stake. 1 rider watching from below the podium. Who will it be? Borrelli liking the moves at the back. Boissier liking to lead at the front, but she's not having her own way. An incident for Borrelli. She goes down, sorry, look at that. It's Boissier, sorry, who's gone down. Boissier goes into the rock garden. She gets tangled in the tape. She was pushing to try and go around Fromberger. That's dropped her out here. So Madison Boissier, after making the final, has hit the deck after the rock garden. She managed to keep it just about safe, but lost it in the final moments. It's opened the gap gap up. And now this is really deja vu for Margot Borrelli, the French rider who's in third place. She's got work to do to close the gap down on Pernica and on Fromberger. It was Fromberger who tangled with Boissier. It's let the gap open a little bit, and Fromberger now knows she's got the fastest rider from the time trial. Pernica looking to close that gap down onto her wheel. Fromberger crouching low over the bars, puts the power down. She does not want to let Pernica get into the slipstream, but Pernica is going to do that. Pernica moves on the left-hand side, and she can't get through. She can. She makes the move on the inside, and now Fromberg is in the position that we saw Boissier in. She cleans it, though, down that rock garden. Two riders in contention for the title here at the moment, and if one of them makes a mistake, we could well see Margot Borrelli close the gap down very, very quickly indeed. This is going to be critical here today. Pernica leading this into the descent here today. She's going to come round this final corner. Look at Pernica go.
Yeah, Adela Pernica from Czechia. She was number one in the time trial. She set the fastest ride in qualification. She's been absolutely dominant. Out on course today, coming up and over the top of Marion Fromberger, the German rider. Pernica swings it into the finish straight. She's going to take the European title for 2026. Adela Pernica takes gold. Marion Fromberger comes across the line in second place. It's going to be a silver medal for Fromberger. How close was that race today? And what fabulous racing from Pernica, the Czechia rider, Fromberger from Germany. Borrelli comes over the line in third place. She will take the bronze medal today.
Fantastic racing. Boissier just got it all sorts of wrong on the way down. You can see she picked herself back up, jumped back onto the bike. It's plenty more time out there for Boissier in future championships, but today was the day that we saw Adela Pernica come through to take away the title. She punches the air into light, arms wide open to receive the plaudits from the crowd, and look at that. Margot Borrelli in third is going to make up the ground, and there was enough time for Fromberger to give the world's biggest hug to Adela Pernica. That is fantastic sportsmanship. That is what we love to see about the XCE Mountain Bike Eliminator family. Whatever the race, whatever is at stake, whether that's a European title, you see that joy for the successful.
Well, the men's race still to go. This is the final of the men's Eliminator European Championships. Matej Zakas from Romania, Jakub Klemenček from Slovenia, Theo Hauser of Austria, and Eddie Molnar of Romania. Hauser, Molnar and Klemenček have all held this title before and are going for a second European title. Matej Zakas is the rider who could upset them all.
Well, will we see Zakas upset the apple cart here today? He's making the move round into the race leaders to go over the line for the first time. 2 full laps to go, and a big move goes from Molnar. The countryman of Zakas puts it down early here today. They're going in so fast into this left turn. This is where we've seen issues already here today. They come down, and that was tight there. Molnar went over the top. He had the gap behind him. You could see issues coming for Zakas and Klemenček. They held it together there. At the moment, Hauser's a spectator watching from behind. The battle on Vod in second and third place. Klemenček powers down the outside. He gets his elbows just in front. And look at that big move made by Hauser. Hauser comes through. Hauser's going to come alongside Klemenček. They could be 3 wide. It's going to be 2. They come up onto the top. All 4 together into the descent here. Molnar's power put him in front. It's not given him a defendable lead necessarily in this race. One more lap to go. 1 lap left in the European Mountain Bike Eliminator Championships for 2026. And at the moment, it's now Klemenchik who says, anything you can do, I can do better. This is what power is. Over the top he goes into the descent. All 4 riders cleanly down the steps and the rock garden. And my, how that pendulum swings, because Klemenchik is in 1 and it's Hauser in 2. Hauser wants the title. He wants to take the kit away. What can he do on the descent here? Time is running out. They've got to throw everything at this. Are they content with a medal that is not gold in colour? Well, the answer's going to be no, because Hauser is pushing on to Klemenchik's wheel. We've seen incidents. There's only meters left in this race. Descent done. This is the left-hand turn. Who will be the European champion? The pace and the power comes down. Jakub Klemenchik of Slovenia. He's the man. He's the European champion for 2026.
Wow, putting it down and leaving nothing out on the course today. Jakub Klemenchik takes the gold medal, does the business 2 years in a row.
Klemenchik comes through. Look at Hauser coming down there. When the power went down, he was the only one who could answer. He came in searching for a way round Klemenchik. He took the sweeping move up the inside. Number 1 today, no doubting it. It is Klemenchik. The 2nd place going to Theo Hauser of Austria, and a 3rd place for Eddie Caroli Molnar of Romania. Zakas coming through. He'll have to be another year before he can take his first title, but Jakub Klemenchik there, flying around the circuit, sub 2 minutes for 2 laps of this course. That is a phenomenal time here today in Sakarya in Turkey.
Well, Klemenchik, Hauser and Molnar, 3 of the 4 riders in that final have all been European champion before. Klemenchik, however, defending that title from 2025 and doing the double here today in Sakarya, Turkey.
Well, you can just see the congratulations there from Zagar, the winner of the small final, going to his teammate Klemenchik, the fellow Slovenian, as the riders now celebrate or commiserate after their racing here today. Pernica just taking a little bit of a moment to take it all in. Eddie Caroli of Molnar rewarded with a bronze medal, or will be very, very shortly up on the stage. The Romanian team doing a fantastic job.
Yes.
And we shouldn't forget, I don't think, the work that is done in the background behind these riders. They have to expend the energy on the track. There's a lot of people that come together to make this happen and support our riders, whether they're new young riders who are reliant on mum and dad, or whether they're experienced riders with a big team behind them.
Yeah, exactly, and it is the teams off the track as well as the racers on the track that make the performances. And talking about those performances, we are going to celebrate and move towards the ceremonies, the flower ceremonies here in the European Championships. We're going to take a look and get the women on that stage first, followed by the men. You can see Adela Pernica, Marion Fromberger in the background. They're all coming through, and we're going to hear interviews from our winners. Adela Pernica, the gold medalist and European champion in the women's race from Czechia, and then Jakub Klemenchik, the gold medalist and European champion in the men's race from Slovenia. There's a lot of people down there wanting to talk to them, and we hopefully are going to hear from them shortly.
Well, you can just see the riders being brought down to the interview here. Adela Pernica, what a ride by her. She'd been tipped for being potentially the rider who could upset Gaia Tolmena. Tolmena going out, not keeping the bike together. And we got a feel for the rider who has had this title so many times before, but my goodness me, Pernica absolutely flying. I think hers one of the really great rides here today. Pernica putting down the best time in the time trial, really showing her class here and fulfilling the promise she's shown for so long.
Yes, she came out really strong in the World Championships in Barcelona earlier on this year and then made the final and had issues.
Yes.
Finishing fourth there that day, Tormena taking gold. Well, we're going to hear from the European champion now.
Can you believe it?
No, I can believe it. It's too amazing feeling in front of a lot of people here. I don't know, I'm so speechless, but it feels so great. Thank you.
You have been winning a lot of time trials. You've always been fast in the qualifiers, but it was hard to win at the highest level in the heats. And now you suddenly do it in like one of the biggest races of the season.
Yeah, I think little too much luck, and I can't believe I can do this. Thank you. I don't know what to say.
When did you start believing in it? Because it was a crazy race, first with Gaia going out in the qualifiers, then with Maria going out in the semi-finals. Surprisingly, when did you start to believe, oh, I can become a European champion?
I don't really know. I just knew that I'm strong. I trained so hard for this, and I just believe myself, and I am really happy I can do this.
You will ride a full season in the European Stars and Stripes.
Yeah, it's crazy feeling, and we will first start in this jersey will be next week here in Sakarya for the World Cup. So yeah, it feels amazing.
Enjoy it, it will be crazy.
Thank you so much.
Well, just thinking about the words there of Adela Pernica, very similar to the words of Arthur Pilaert, who became a world champion BMXer. He said he had to accept he could win in himself, and that was almost the only thing stopping him. But when he did, he just kept on winning, and I think we could see that same again here from Adela Pernica.
Oh, I think you could be right, taking that jersey into the World Cup starting next weekend. Adela Pernica takes the gold medal and the European title. Marion Fromberger from Germany, the silver medal today. And Margot Borrelli of France takes the bronze.
Borrelli's ride to sneak through time and time again. Incredible riding from a very experienced rider. You've got to feel for Madison Bossier in the mix, not to be this time around. Real highs and lows from the highs of Pernica and Fromberger and Borrelli, the lows potentially of Bossier and Sukarya.
Yes, and well, racing, well, you never know what's going to happen on race day. You really don't. You can be on the best form that you have that season, and well, it could just not go your way.
Definitely, another of the big take-homes here has been the way that our Kia riders have ridden in both the women's and in the men's. Very much taking the battle to the rest of the riders, really riding strongly.
Well, let's hear from Jakub Klemenček, the men's European champion.
Your third European title. You did it again?
Yeah, I can't believe it. It sounds so good. 3 European titles. Like, I didn't imagine this when I was younger. So yeah, still dreams for me.
You're becoming a little bit the Tadej Pogačar of Eliminator racing.
I don't know. Maybe. But I still need to win the World Championship title, so yeah, not yet.
The battle today with Theo was really crazy hard one again, no?
Yeah, Theo, and also yeah, pushed really hard in the finals. I needed to do my best efforts to give it my all on the track. So yeah, chapeau to them. So yeah, I'm very happy also for them. So yeah.
How hard was it to refocus after World Championships, where you had great legs also, but you had bad luck there in the final?
Yeah, this is true. Like today, I needed to show not to the others, but to myself that I'm still capable of winning the big races, because the World Championship for me was a big failure. So yeah, today I really needed to take this title again. So yeah, I'm more than happy.
You can work the European jersey again for 1 year, so enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, after breaking his chain in that final on the start straight in that World Championships earlier on this year, to winning the gold medal and retaining the European title for 2 years in a row, Jakub Klemenček has unfinished business. I'm looking forward to 2027 already. already, and I'm looking forward to the World Cups as he shows us that jersey out there. Jakub Klemenček takes the gold medal and the European title for 2026. Theo Hauser takes the silver medal and Eddie Molnar the bronze.
Three great rides by three great riders at the front of that race, with Klemenček taking away top spot. Some real battles behind from the riders from France, from Wall and Hampio. Not to be for them today. Kraus really put in some good performances. And again, you can see the number of these riders who made it through into our finals here today, putting in some fantastic performances. And again, some great performances by the Sakarya riders all the way through. And I think challenging for the medals right the way into those finals, and you can see what it means to the crowds and to the sport in this fantastic cycle sport venue.
Yes, and the grandstand absolutely packed today. They're on the grass behind the grandstand as well. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from today. Well, what a European Championships we've witnessed today from Sakarya. Thrills and spills for our racers. Congratulations to Adela Pernica and Jakub Klemenček on those European titles for 2026, taking those gold medals and those European jerseys, which we'll be able to see during the World Cup season this year. The first of those 5 World Cups starting next week on the 14th of June here from Sakarya in Turkey. Put the date in your diary. We will see you next week. Goodbye.